Hey everybody, hope you guys doing alright. So, like outwardly, I'm speaking and I'm trying to speak in a relatively positive manner, but like internally, like there's some fucking crazy shit going on. Like I just woke up, like just feeling like the saddest storm is like just circulating throughout the insides of my body, and I don't even really know why. Like things are going relatively well. Like I'm continue to cut back on kratom and but still, there's just this storm, like it just surging inside my soul that just wants me to like just think of every negative thing I could possibly think about anything. Like it's just crazy, like how the fucking mind, body, and spirit can work on you. Sometimes, And I know when I leave this basement, like when I go outside and I go for a run, it completely changes. It's a complete change in how I feel about myself, my being, my mind, my spirit. Everything changes. The more I get closer to nature, the better I feel. The more time I spend in this basement looking at fucking, laptops and cell phones, you know, the less, I mean, if I'm looking at things I enjoy, I like that a little bit more. But essentially, like, there's an inherent kind of shit, like a bad feeling that goes along with spending too much time down here with this stuff. And, you know, it's making my progress with this project difficult because like in order to do this here and now and continue on, I have to continue to sit here, and I don't really have anywhere else to go. Like in this house, like this house is not very big. There's three people up I share it with. Like it's just not, this is the spot I stay. So it's like the best spot for me to stay. So I stay here, and it's been good so far, but damn, it gets rough sometimes. Like this is really, it wasn't like this a couple weeks ago. I don't know why it's changed. Part of me feels like it's like time for me to find like some avenue of like just like I need to speak to somebody. Like it's just like that's like I don't even really want to get fucked up, but I just like I need somebody to like talk to and like converse with, and like just like you open my mouth and talk to, like not just myself and the phone and the internet, but like actually somebody that can listen and give me feedback, and I can do the same. And that's what I feel would probably behoove me like best, like in healthy, like the most healthy thing I can do for myself would probably be to find someone else to speak with. I've spent a lot of time on my own. There's a lot of people in the spiritual community that talk about, just be on your own, just worry about yourself, like, and it's like I've never, as somebody who spent a lot of time on his own, like I know what it's like, I'm good at it. Like I've spent a lot of time, like I know how to do that, but I also know how sad it can be, really, really sad. Like, how much, time I spend yearning for the company of others is profound, and I also know like the movie Into the Wild, done by Eddie Vedder, who's the lead singer of Pearl Jam. I think Sean Penn directed or produced it too, and but it's based on a real story of a dude who went to college and decided to leave college and just go out on the road and live as a nomad essentially. And he kept on pushing himself farther and farther and farther and farther. The actor was Emil Hirsch, who played this real life character, and he ended up all the way out in the Alaskan wilderness. Um, Not really knowing what he's like. I mean, he had like a lot of like nomad experience, but he wasn't really prepared for the Alaskan wilderness, and he ended up getting stranded out there in an old van or an old bus, and he actually died from starvation. And but his whole thing was just getting away from people. Like he always just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, like on his own, like largely on his own, just pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to just continue to push that adventure spirit. But he was always on his own for the most part. And that's one of the things, at least in the movie, they portrayed, and I feel based on my time alone, I agree with, is you get to that point when you pushed yourself that far, and it's like, you really just want to be around loved ones, and at the very end of the movie, that's what he was just thinking about. I forget the exact quote at the very end, but it was something about being alone and, just how much, he kind of would have, a lesson for him was to learn how to cherish the loved ones in his life more, not to have that need to push himself so far away from mainstream society and people, to where he ostracized himself and it's thus lost his ability to interact with others, in a real, it's almost authentic way. Because when you put yourself in that far of a fucking place, like you're in that outer space, and it's like, okay, I'm now in outer space. It's hard for me to relate to you when you're in normal space. And I guess I kind of feel myself going deeper and deeper in, like, the more time I spend on my own in this basement working on this stuff, the more I feel like I'm pushing myself into outer space, and it's harder for me to relate to people in a more, quote unquote normal space, even though everybody's in their own fucking different space. But this is a relatively unique situation to be 37 years old in your parents' house and working on all the, essentially trying to figure out as much as I can to help save the world and combat this evil fucking plan. I mean, there's nobody else I know doing it, so I mean, it is a little unique, and it is what the fuck it is. I almost wish it wasn't that way, because then it'd be easier to get done, because there'd be more people to help get it done. But there's not. So, and that's just the way that it's meant to be, and I think it's that way for a reason, because if one is getting like messages from, let's say, a higher dimensional being or whatever, like it can make sense that, like, the person who's able to connect to those type of things the best is going to get the best connection. So this is where I think we get prophets and stuff come from. They're just people that have gotten to such a higher vibrational level that they're able to connect to those higher vibrational realms. But in order to get that way, if the rest of the world's not at a higher vibrational level, you're going to be ostracized. You're going to be different. You're not going to be on the same level as other people. So it makes sense that these prophets, these people, these messengers, these people that are able to do these things that are different, are very different themselves, and live, and it can be painful sometimes. It is what it is. But it's also like, it's a gift for you guys too, like, because you got to realize, like, it's like you guys do have an opportunity to essentially interrogate and to learn from, and to just, learn more about, people that have that ability. I mean, there's been many of them, but at least from my perspective and my experience, I just want to share with y'all how it feels sometimes, and kind of just where I'm at, and why things have slowed down a little bit on the project. Has to do with just the more work I do on this, sometimes the sadder it makes me, and the more alone I feel. And it's like, I'm doing this all to connect people, but yet the more I work on it, the more alone I feel. So it kind of fucks in my head a little bit, if that makes sense. So, all right, I love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.